Hi, everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome back. Oh my gosh, you guys have never seen me live and direct from the cocina. Welcome to the kitchen. How's everybody doing? It's been a while since I hung out with you all. I feel like a little baby fawn trying to get on my legs. I'm like, oh, I'm missing music because I don't have music on. Everybody. How's everybody doing on this holiday Monday? Today, we go off and do things like break and whatnot. I hope some of you are barbecuing and enjoying the day. Okay, that works. And I'm gonna actually change my sweater. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood, a beautiful day in the neighborhood. Want to be my neighbor. Okay, there we go. A little bit more comfy. I'm gonna put my hair up because we're gonna be doing some things in the kitchen that we don't want hair to get into. Unlike some other people that we know on social media that don't practice the best hygiene, we're gonna practice the best hygiene possible, right? Yes, of course. Okay, I'm trying to get this music just right. I feel like I should maybe look up copyright-free music, but we'll just leave that there for now. Okay, anyhow. Hi, everybody. So I'm going to make today some lemon poppy seed scones. These have been quite popular since I made them the first time. I made them as part of my 52 weeks of new things. So you'll see here, I saved the card from when I made it earlier this year. And every time I go back to it, I grab this and I get to baking. At some point at the end of the year, I'm going to take the best of, so see, like, these are all the recipes from the year. At some point, I'm going to take the best of and, I don't know, figure out something to do with them. Maybe do like a YouTube series again of just baking and cooking live the best ones. But I guess we're going to start today with one of them. So lemon poppy seed scones. So this is a recipe for lemon poppy seed mini scones specifically. It's a recipe from Ree Drummond. I adapted the glaze a tiny bit for my tasting. Her recipe for glaze, I feel like, can be cut in half. So that's what I do in terms of modifications, but pretty much beyond that, I do the recipe as is. So for the scones, we're going to need 3 cups or 384 grams of all-purpose flour, a little bit more for dusting. We're going to need some sugar. That's going to be 2/3 cup or 134 grams. We're going to need 5 teaspoons of baking powder. We're going to need 2 sticks of cold salted butter. Ooh, okay, I gotta pull some out of the freezer. Ooh, that's gonna be extra cold. So, oopsie. Just gonna be a little bit frozen, but that's okay. It's all right. We can figure that out. Okay, so we have our 2 sticks. 2 sticks, salted butter. Salted, right? The gold is the salted and the silver is the unsalted, right? Yes. Boom. We've got our butter. We have poppy seeds. I'm using King Arthur flour, and 365 organic cane sugar, 365 baking powder, eggs from Whole Foods. Poppy seeds. We need heavy cream. We need zest of lemons and juice, the egg. And then for the lemon glaze, I'll pull out some powdered sugar that needs to get sifted. Oh my God, that's a pain in the butt, but it's okay. We need some milk that's in the fridge. For that, we're also going to need the zest and juice of a lemon, a pinch of kosher salt, and then at the end, we're going to sprinkle some poppy seeds for finishing. So that's what we're getting into today, kids. All right, let's start by measuring out our ingredients. So for baking, I have found that measuring works best, especially if you're trying to replicate something. And depending on the recipe, sometimes I will, to not dirty up 2 bowls, I'll just put the mixing bowl on top of the scale instead of using the little bowl that comes with the scale and then dumping that in there. If there's multiple flours or multiple measurements of flour, then I'll pull this out just to make sure that like we're not doing things at the wrong time. So like for example, the French country style bread that I make from King Arthur, there's different stages of how much flour you put in at each stage, and it really makes a difference because I messed up once. Okay, so we have our mixing bowl. We have our scale. We're going to put our mixing bowl on the scale. Turn the scale on. We're going to set it for grams. And we need 384 grams. 384. Two. 84. And we'll keep it out for the dusting. So we have 384 grams of flour. Oh, well here's an instance where it's good for me to have the other little bowl, because we do have, I could just measure out the sugar, but again, if I can weigh it out, I find that to be better. So we're going to weigh out 134 grams of sugar. Azúcar. How's everybody doing today? I had a pretty good weekend. Relatively quiet. Lots of swimming. 134. A little bit of hanging out with neighbors. 134. 134 grams. So we've got our flour. We've got our sugar. We're gonna put it away because we're done with it. Okay. I'm a clean up as you go kind of person also, by the way. Okay. Put up. Now we need, just because we're gonna be fancy, 5 teaspoons of baking powder. Okay. 5 teaspoons? 5 teaspoons. So here, because I am measuring, I'm going to get my little nice part leveling. I don't know what that was. It was an extra friend. The baking powder. We don't need that. Okay, do it again. One. Wait. Two. 3. 5, right? 3. 4. Telling y'all, people don't believe me when I say I'm a Muppet. I'm a freaking Muppet. 5. So we have our 5 teaspoons of baking powder. Powder? Teaspoons. All right. So we need to zest. We need to zesting. So we'll take an eggie, set it aside, put the eggies away. Okay. For the lemon, grab a little something with a wider lip. So, zest of 3 lemons. So now we're going to get to zesting. Can you see? Yeah. Okay. So I've been trying this, like, I think TikTok hack to keep citrus longer, and it has you keep them in the fridge in water. And so these 3 have been in the fridge. This one's been on the counter. They've definitely stayed fresher longer. So thank you, TikTok. Sometimes you do work. Okay, so we're gonna start zesting. So yeah, what else did I do this weekend? A lot of swimming. Lots of swimming. Trying to get this panini fluff off of me little by little. So for like a month now, I've been swimming every day, without fail. And if I have the energy, I try to swim twice, which that's been like a few times in the last week or so, which has been really nice. Feels really good. What else is happening? I'm on the dating apps. Well, one, I'm on Hinge. Oh my God. So not about Hinge, although Hinge has some interesting stories in itself. But earlier this week, oh my God, out of the blue, I get a text message that's like, hi, new phone, you popped up. I'm like, okay, I don't have your number saved. Cool. But I'm like, okay, do a little hand wave back. And it's like, oh, do you know who this is? I'm like, no. And then he says a name, and it's a name of, honestly, first of all, one of my exes, but I knew it wasn't him. I was like, okay, well, I know a few, insert name, right? I know a few Teds. It's not Ted, but I know a few Teds. And so then he sends me a picture, don't recognize him. And then he says, I rented you your apartment at blah, blah, blah. which is basically like the apartment building that I lived at before the one that I'm at now. And I was like, oh, cool. All right. Well, thank you. He's like, oh, my picture didn't scare you. I'm like, oh, doesn't cost to be nice. And he's like, oh, I had a crush on you when I showed you the apartment. This was in 2018. 2018. It's 2022 right now. And I was like, okay, thanks for the compliment. He's like, oh, do you still live in, insert town? And I'm like, oh, I don't know. I started kind of just like playing it off, being coy, like, oh, well, thanks for the compliment. Have a good day. And thankfully he took the hint, but I'm like, oh God, did he see me on the dating app? And is that why he decided to reach out, but like weirdly directly? That was so weird though. Like, don't do that. Dudes of all genders, don't do that. That's not cool. It's creepy. But then, so on Hinge, I haven't had like creep like that on Hinge, but oh my God, what's happening on Hinge, like it's no tomorrow, is the amount of catfish. Almost every day now, I get emails from Hinge that somebody I had been matched with was removed from the site for being fraudulent. And it's just always, that's usually because they're a catfish. And now I've kind of been able to like figure some of them out. Like a lot of them communicate on WhatsApp, but that's okay. Like I know other people that legitimately communicate on WhatsApp. One of them wanted to chat with me on Telegram. I was like, oh, hell no. Who does that? And oh, well, I caught one because he sent me pictures of quote unquote his groceries after he had supposedly driven from San Francisco to Oakland to go grocery shopping, which is like not a thing. Nobody does that. Who you lying to? It's not even a good lie. And then he sent me a picture of his groceries, and it's like bags in a cart of a Wegmans cart. I'm in California. Maybe some Californians might not recognize Wegmans because they haven't been to the East Coast. This one has. I've actually shopped at a Wegmans. And I know that it's a small East Coast chain. Like, not small, but like, it's not over here. And it's not small, actually. It's not a small chain. But like, it's an East Coast chain. Anyways, I was just like, oh, tell me about this amazing market that like had you drive across the bay for it. And why do you have a Wegmans cart? And I mean, the guy basically disappeared. But that was the first one who was like one of the first catfish that like got me off of the app and had me talking to him on WhatsApp. After that, I've started to connect the dots pretty easily. They're usually brand new to the website because they don't last that long because they get kicked off at some point because somebody flags them for being fraud. 9 out of 10 of them, their hometown is either Paris, France, or somewhere in France, which I'm learning French. So like that first guy was like, oh, cool, I can practice my French. And I was trying to practice my French. And he would just respond in English, which was like odd to me. But I'm convinced that the France hometown storyline is to excuse the broken English. Because I'm telling you, like, this shit is coordinated. But yeah, anywho. I met one guy off of the app. We had a decent enough, first date or whatnot. But I'm trying not to rush into, like the first person that likes you or like whatever, like pays you some attention, because I've been, off the dating market or whatever, off the dating scene for a couple of years now, if not more, if I count like me and the ex were on and off for a long time. So, it should have been even longer than that. Anywho, it's nice to be dating again. It's interesting, right? Because I'm of a certain age where a lot of the men my age, are looking for women a lot younger than me. And, that's what it is. It's interesting to me I appreciate how many of these people are pretty relatively open on their profiles about being non-monogamous or being in open relationships and that they have their mate and blah blah blah. Because I keep it moving. Been there, done that, not interested. So I appreciate people being honest about that, but there's a lot of people like that. And so when you take the catfish out of the equation, when you take the non-monogamous people out of the equation, it's a very, and then, you know, men be menning. Oh my God. The amount of like meet and greet celebrity pictures that people use that don't impress me much, like at all. It really is kind of a turnoff. But then on the flip side, there was a guy who like, you know, wasn't really my type, honestly, like physically or whatever. But one of his pictures was a meet and greet with drag queens, and one of them is my friend. I was like, I know her. I was like, all right, I'll give you the like because on that picture because good for you. You know, so I appreciate I appreciate that, but like, man, and there's definitely like the, you know, the odd anti-vaxxer. Thankfully, it's like 1 out of 100 that are explicit about it, right? Like on their profile. What else is there? The people that, it weirds me out, guys that put like baby pictures of themselves or like pictures of them when they were little kids. Like, do you want me to think of you as a hot child? Like, am I dating you as a child? Like, I don't get that. It's really interesting to me how many men in their 40s or over 40s that don't have children who are trying to start a family. I'm like, okay. And again, I mean, although I guess with science and everything, things change, but you know, somebody my age, like, I'm not really trying to have a baby at this point. So it's just interesting. It's interesting for sure. For sure. But for now, I just want to date. Like, I don't want to get tied down right away to anybody. I want to go on as many dates as possible. I just want to have fun. This girl just wants to have fun. That's all I know. All right. So right now, I have about 1/3 of a cup of lemon juice squoze out. And yes, look at me squeezing it myself. What a concept. Last time I made them, I added a little bit more lemon juice to the mix. I had to add a little bit more flour to get it just right. But I really liked the extra lemoniness of it. I really like that lemon tinge. So this is more like, trying to let it settle. It's just under 2 cups is what I got out of these 2 lemons. So we have the zest, the juice. Okay. Let's see what else. There's one of the hinge guys sending a message now. Okay, so the 2 sticks. The 2 sticks. So our formerly frozen butter has been sitting on the counter for a little bit. Still a little frozen, but we're going to work with it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pastry cut it up because this is going to get a lot of work today. Let's see. What did he say? What's this thing? Hold on, no, let me respond to that.
Oh, actually, that makes me think. Let's check Hinge. Anything interesting? Anybody interesting? Yeah. Okay. Anyhow, got distracted. We have our butter. And I pulled out a cheese knife, and it's working. It's working. I know that for some biscuit recipes, they want it frozen. They want it like as cold as possible. So I think we'll make it work. So my scones, the way that they come out, I need to sift the flour. That's another reason why with this recipe, look at me, I'm talking at the top saying one thing and then changing my mind to another at the end.
This recipe, a big part of why I'm convinced that my scones, and by using this recipe, come out so good and so fluffy and so delicious. Part of it is the cold butter, but a big part of it is that it has me sift ingredients, which is a pain in the freaking arse. But I'm convinced it's part of the success. So, because I have to sift flour, I'm going to take this butter that I chopped up, and we're going to do this. We're going to put this here. We're going to cut the other one later. And we're going to get to sifting because this needs to happen. Yes, mama, house down, boots. Hi. Yay, it's nice to be back. Doing something new today. Got here just in time. I've been kind of babbling a little bit and having a little bit of distraction while I get myself set up, but it's okay. It's a holiday. It's early. I decided to do this a lot earlier than usual also because I'm a sprite little bird in the morning. You know, bake in the morning. Bake in the morning. So we have our 384 grams of flour, just 3 cups, that needs to be sifted. We have our 134 grams of sugar, but I have like a thick grain sugar, so I don't know if it's worth sifting, but the flour is for sure. So let's get to sifting the flour. So I got this handy dandy little hand. Look, it's like it's snowing. Doesn't that make it feel like it's Christmas or something? Like a Hallmark movie? I think Santa should be coming. So poco a poco, little by little, I measure out flour and we sift it. We do the little sifting. And then some of it gets a little bit stuck. You just give it a tap. Okay, some more flour. The one that's a pain in the butt to sift like this, ooh, child. And that's another one that's like, is it worth it? Is the powdered sugar? Because I think something about the friction of the sifter, I probably need to use the cone, this one. Actually, I'm going to try that. For the powdered sugar, I'm going to try this one because I think there's something about the friction in this one that starts to melt the powdered sugar and then it just becomes lumpy. And then it's like, I'm just ending up with lumps that I have to throw away and then it feels like a waste. So I know sisters are so much fun. It feels very like 1950s housewife. Hi, Daddy, are you home? So how you doing, Sweet Harmony? What's going on? How's your holiday? Question mark. Monday. Holiday? Question mark. It's funny too because ironic. Should be playing it today. There's a song from an Argentinian
rock en español band. Centenario, no hay nada que se festejar. And it's basically like a super like bam, 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 ska, like super powerful song. And it's all about how in Latin America, people were celebrating, you know, like the 500 years since Christopher Columbus, blah, 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 da, da, da. And the song is basically like, what are we celebrating? We're celebrating colonizing. We're celebrating, you know, people like the death of, you know, who knows how many indigenous people. And so that's a song that I usually play on a 4th of July kind of day. It's like a Quinto Centenario. No hay nada que festejar! You want to get pumped. Los Fabulosos Cadillacs. That's the band. Highly recommend them. Highly, highly recommend them. Very politically forward. They're kind of like, they've been called like the Argentinian U2, but I think they're cooler. And rock en español is just its own genre, honestly. I mean, that's why it's rock en español. It's not rock and roll. It's rock en español because it has different influence. Okay, I really don't celebrate holidays, so I'm just saying, I know that's right. I know that's right. So we have, look at that, chatting away, chit chat. We get this job done. So we have our flour that's sifted. For the sake of it, I'm gonna do the sugar because I'm supposed to. Most of it. Put it in there. Okay. Sift the sugar, sift the sugar. Sift the sugar, sift the sugar. Sifting my sugar. This looks more like hail than snow. Those pieces didn't get sifted, but I don't want to waste it. Okay. Boom. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. Okay, boom. We have our flour. We add our sifted sugar. When I was younger, I celebrated, but my fiance is a bit. I know that.
Especially for a vet to say no. I know that's right.
Yeah, I mean, that's a whole nother conversation. The way that this country will take its young men, send them off to war. A war that those young men don't profit off of. And then leave them abandoned and to fend for themselves when they come back. But, I mean, we see how they do most of us. Now they're just like not even giving a fuck. They're like, yeah, we don't care about most of you. Ha ha. Ha ha. Do something. Oh gosh. So this needs a better wash. I was making milk bread with it and it's still covered in dough. That's not gonna work. I need this. Okay. So now we have our flour, we have our sugar. We're gonna add the baking powder, which we have set aside. We have 5 teaspoons of baking powder that go into our dry mix. And that's gonna be, oh no, and then the 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. It's worth doing it now while everything is dry. I almost always forget and then have to incorporate it in at the end, and it's not as pretty. So we have our 1 tablespoon of poppy seeds. We're not in Kansas anymore.
put our poppy seeds away.
Wait. Things are falling. It's falling. Okay. There we go. There we go. This is clean. Okay. So we have all of our dries. We're going to mix that to make it nice and incorporated evenly. There we go. Oh, that's nice. That felt very relaxing. Okay. Back to our butter. Back to our butter. So we have one stick that I kind of cut up. We're going to cut it up a little bit more. Just because it's still a little frozen, which is good. So the other thing about these scones is that I kind of treat them a little bit like biscuits when I'm processing the dough. Like I laminate them like they're biscuits. I use really, really cold butter like they're biscuits. And they come out so fluffy and so yummy. Okay, so with our cheese knife, we have made quite the Kill Bill moment of the butter. Let's see, can you see it? There we go. So that's one stick. Just gonna put it in there. Why waste? That. Okay, we put the butter. We put the butter. We put the butter in there. That's one stick. What inspired to do? You know what did inspire me? At the end of the year, it was around November, I think, that I started baking the bread, like that first bread that I baked that I really, really liked. And then it was getting towards the end of the year, and I was trying to find like recipes that were like seasonal. And we were getting around to the new year, and I was trying to think of like intentions and goals. And there was something about setting this timeline of like, and at first I wanted to do more than one thing a week. I'm so glad I did one. But it was like, let's try to do one new recipe. Like I wanted to make, it started out as make, bake, or cook. And so like one of those first weeks, it was like me knitting something. But it very quickly just evolved into just food. And it was cooking or baking something new. And it's been such an adventure. I want to say like, there was like one fish recipe that I was like, meh, don't know if I'll make that again. But it was okay, I ate it. And there's like the spiced lamb rough puff pastry. There's parts of that recipe that I want to make again. But it was okay. Like the seasoning, the flavor profile of the seasoning was like, okay, like it was all right. But pretty much everything else besides those two, it's been a hit in terms of flavor. And in terms of execution, I luckily have really only failed once, which was the Basque style cheesecake, which made me realize that my oven's temperature is way off from what it says here to here. So I put in a little oven thermometer or whatnot. That's been helping out a lot. So I was able to rescue the Basque. Well, not rescue. I had to do it twice. So here's our second stick of butter. And again, if your butter is frozen and you have to cut it up, a cheese knife works wonders. Who knew? Yeah, I figured. Dairy family. Okay, so we put that butter in there. Put our butter in there. And then okay, so now I'm going to take this. Where is it? Where's she go? Okay, so we have our flour, we have the sugar, we have the baking powder, the poppy seeds, and now we've just added the salted 2 sticks
of Kerrygold butter. Oh, sorry, my nails are a mess. So sorry. I need to do my nails.
And a pastry cutter, I find, works wonders for this part. So we take our pastry cutter.
And I'm just gonna basically work out any aggression you might have woken up with today. That boss not giving you a raise, take it out on the butter. Your girlfriend doesn't want to give you some booty, take it out on the butter. Your boyfriend doesn't want to buy you that perfume you want, take it out on the butter. I don't know why I'm being so silly. I haven't baked from scratch in years. Oh, Kerrygold is the best. I've pretty much only been baking with Kerrygold. Whenever I see that it's on sale, I just stock up and I stick it in the freezer, and it's the best. But whenever I bake with Kerrygold, even after I wash my hands smell like butter for hours. Ugh. Your dog's not listening to you, take it out on the butter. What else are we doing? Social media crook didn't mail you your cookbook. Take it out on the butter. Oh, this is actually starting to hurt my hand. Ooh. But don't take it out on your hand. Okay. So, I feel like so right now there's still some big bits of butter in there. We're gonna break it down a little bit more. We want those butter bits. We want those butter bits. Oh, I am like huffing and puffing over here. Morning workout. And I'm gonna go swim after this. Ooh, child. I'm gonna end up with whole arms. All right, I think we're in a good place. I think we're in a good place.
Every little bit of butter counts. We don't leave any bit of no butter left behind. No butter. No butter left behind. Oh. Whew, that was a workout. So now we're gonna make a little bit of a well in the middle. So now mix the liquids. We're going to mix.
We need
2/3 cup of heavy cream. 2/3 cup. Where's the 2/3 cup? 2/3 cup.
Two-thirds cup.
Heavy cream. So
We have our lemon zest and our lemon juice. And then what I usually do,
get the lemon juice into your little container with the zest so that you don't leave any zest behind. No zest left behind. Notice the theme? We don't leave anything behind. Nobody gets left behind. We all make space for baby. So we have our heavy cream. We have our lemon zest.
we have our lemon juice.
Now,
We take a little eggy egg, and you're going to want to break it into a separate container. Never break your egg directly into your mixed product. Ever, ever, ever.
and
Let's see.
can she do it? Can she do it? Ooh, one hand clean break. And the crowd goes wild. So, a little trick that we don't have to use today, but I learned, I think also on TikTok. If you get a piece of shell in your egg that you broke, take your other shell, right, a clean piece of shell, and you're going to want to scoop the other shell with shell because they're attracted to each other. The shell is going to want to come back to itself. So it's a really nice and easy way to scoop out little shell pieces out of your broken egg. So we have our egg that thankfully doesn't have any shell pieces in it. We're going to put it in with our heavy cream, lemon juice, lemon zest. Now we have the egg. And I'm going to take that. I'm just going to mix it up. Just a little bit. Just a little bit. Just so that your yolk is broken up. And again, other magic word of the day, incorporated. Okay, so we have our heavy cream. We have our lemon zest. We have our lemon juice. We have our egg. And so now we're going to pour this into the little well that we made. Yum. Smells so good. Ooh. I'm so when it comes to like scents and perfumes and things like that are food based, for as much as I like to bake, I don't want to smell like a cookie. I don't want to smell like vanilla. I prefer to smell like flowers or musk. But if you must give me a food type scent, anything citrus. Ooh, that will always make my day. What am I looking for? Okay. So we have smell of citrus. So I have my little pastry scraper that's bendable. I have 2 of them. And we're going to be using both of them today. So there's like the nice flat one, the bench scraper. It's really good for when you need to cut the dough. But for when you're mixing in a bowl, a nice bendable scraper is your friend. So now you're going to hear me huff and puff a little bit more. We're going to get this baby mixed up. And actually, before I do that, so I 50-50, and lately I've been doing it more. We'll just mix, I'll lay out a dough onto the counter. Obviously I clean it. But for this recipe, there's another thing that I have found to be useful that I kind of figured out on my own, which is one of the reasons why I think it's fun for me to do this baking live with you so that you can learn about the things that I've learned along the way. For this one, it's worth pulling out a map. I mean, not a map, a mat, because we're going to transfer the dough into the freezer for just a little bit before we cut into it, because it makes cutting into the dough that much easier. Oh, yay, you cut alive. All right, so let's see. So this is clean. Okay. We have the wet ingredients, the dry ingredients. With the dough scraper, now it's just about, again, magic word, incorporating. So I kind of start by scraping at the walls and bringing it inward. Because the thing is that while you want to incorporate your dough, you don't want to overwork the dough. Oh, and then the other thing, if we remember, I put in a little bit of extra lemon juice that it calls. So I actually need to add a little bit of flour to make up for that extra lemon juice. And I have a really wet dough, which we don't want it to be too wet. So I'm just going to start little by little. A little sprinkle of dough. Save some there. Because we want it to come together. It's a little bit of a loose dough. We don't want it to be a wet dough. I think we're getting there. So like, there's a lot stuck here. It's very wet. We're just going to play with it.
And this is where there's a little bit of forgiveness with some of these recipes in terms of like, oh, you know, add a tiny bit more flour. But if you notice, I'm eyeing a little bit of flour at the end. I'm not just eyeing all the ingredients at the top. Like, again, some of our dear social media chefs like to do, especially with baking. So I'm going to add a little bit more flour. And we're going to huff and puff a little bit more. But now it's coming together nicely. Now we have a loose dough. Okay, this I feel like is something we can work with. So now we're going to lightly dust our surface. Okay, and we're going to dump out the dough. Every little bit of dough counts. Okay. So we take our dough. Whew. And as we can see, it's a little loose, but it's going to come together. Okay. Start to bring it on itself. Get all those crumbly bits, bring them to the middle, and you can see tons and tons of butter pockets, which are lovely. Okay, it's starting to come together. Nice. Coming together nicely. Okay. So now we're gonna laminate this a couple of times. Lamination is when you fold the dough onto itself. With puff pastry or like a croissant, it's layers upon layers. It gets folded upon itself a bunch of times and then rolled out and folded, rolled out and folded. It's a very intricate process. This is more like a biscuit. We're just going to fold it into itself a couple of times. Nothing too crazy like a croissant. So I take that, just fold it onto itself. Take that. Hold it onto itself. And you'll see in the final product, when we pull those scones out of the oven, you'll kind of even see some of them that have like rises and layers. So cool. All right, so I feel like we're in a good place in terms of lamination. I feel like the dough feels nice and incorporated. Now I'm going to get it rolled out. Okay, tiny bit of flour. Okay. Now, see, it's still a little wet because it's sticking to our rolling pin. So, there we go. All right. We're going to roll this out till it's about, let me see, what thickness is it? 3/4 inch thick. So this is an inch, so about that thick. So we're pretty much there. We're just going to roll this out just a tiny bit to get it even. Ooh, those butter pockets look gorgeous. Okay. All right. And then we're just going to, get somewhat of a flat edge. We don't want to force it too much, but start making yourself a rectangle out of the dough. Play with your dough. Talk to it. Say, happy Monday. How are you, dough? How are you today? How are you feeling? Okay, so now I'm going to take this and we are going to stick it in the freezer for like 5 or so minutes, just so that it can get some, not density to it, but I guess density. It'll just make it a lot easier to cut out your scone pieces and then transfer those pieces over to your baking sheet. And actually, we need to preheat the oven anyways. So I take the silicone mat. Okay, I gotta make some space. Okay, so we take our mat. Just gonna fold it over. Very carefully. Be very careful. Very careful. We take our slab. Make sure it's supported. We're just going to leave that in there for a little bit to harden. I guess harden is a good word, not thicken. We don't want it to get thicker. We just want it to get harder. Okay. Usually right about now, it's like cleanup time. I'm going to let the dishwasher do most of the work. And actually, it's pretty loaded right now as it is. So what I'm going to do is just leave it as it's put out. Do that later. So yesterday's recipe, new recipe, will be made later on today. I'm not going to do it live because I get nervous about doing a new recipe live because what if I mess it up? It's hard enough to record myself during the process, but it's fun. It's fun. I'm not complaining. But yeah, so later on today, I will be making Jamaican beef patties, Jamaican beef patty, which I watched this Vice article like on YouTube about the name of the Jamaican beef patties and like how they got their name, and it was like a whole kerfuffle with the Canadian government back in the 70s. It's a really fascinating story. Go check it out if you haven't. But I'll be making those later. Oh, the oven. See, get distracted. You got distracted. You got distracted. Oh, the glaze. We need to make the glaze. Okay. So 350. We're going to put it at 325 and then check it. Okay, we need to make the glaze. Duh! Okay. So, for the glaze, we need a bowl. Okay. dry. We're dealing with powdered sugar. And she is a finicky girl. Finicky. Okay, we have powdered sugar. Oh, it's gonna make me sneeze. Oh. Okay. Stepped out of the kitchen. Okay, I'm back. Okay. There's powdered sugar in the air. Okay. So it calls for 4 cups. You don't need 4 cups. 2 at most. So we're going to take 2 cups of powdered sugar. One. Sift it. See, already the moisture in the air is already clumping up the top layer. It's such a pain. Like, what's a cold, dry climate? Do you need to be in Colorado to work with powdered sugar like this? Because this is not the gig. How many times do you have to pound it? How many times do you have to pound it? But it's worth it. Ugh, she says, as she complains. It's like, what's the best technique? This is working. Just toss it. Oh, no, like it's all over the place. Ah! Okay. We're gonna do like not even 2, 1.5. I'm telling you, you don't need that much freaking sugar. Too much sugar. So we're gonna sift that. So it was just a little under 2 cups is what we're using today. And about half of it will be sifted. Because, oh my God, this is so annoying. Goes in, Mariana. Goes in. See, like, it just starts to clump up. Ugh. Okay. That is just gonna have to be clumpy because I'm not wasting it. See what I mean? Shouldn't be this hard. It's turning into like little snowballs. Ugh. Look at that. Still. Okay. Boom. It's just all going in there. I can't. Okay. We're going to take that sugar. And we need the zest of another lemon, the juice of another lemon, pinch of salt, poppy seed. Oh no, but for sprinkling. Where did you go, poppy seed? There you are. Oh, we'll keep it out. Okay, so now I need Now I'll sniff it. Ugh. Okay. Now we need one more lemon zest. Honestly, this is the glaze. If it wasn't the glaze, like if it was something that was inside the baked good, I'd probably just muffle it out and drive myself crazy trying to sift all the sugar. But it just gets maddening. It just, oh, see? Why are you playing with me? It starts to clump up and it just does not want to sift. What am I supposed to do with clumpy powdered sugar? Not use it? In this economy? I think not. Okay, so we've zested another. Oops. Let's not chop our fingers off. We've zested another lemon. All the stuff off of it. Zest. Okay. Now, take the lemon. Squeeze the juice. Squeeze the juice. Have you been watching also? I have! Oh my gosh. First of all, that plunger is not platinum colored. It's rose gold. And I say that as somebody who loves rose gold. Platinum is more of a cold colored metal. Rose gold is a warm metal. That is a rose gold or a champagne plunger. But to me, I prefer the plunger storyline than the stupid chocolate. They can take the chocolate and shove it, but the plunger is everything. It's a great concept. I'm loving it. And like the Santa episode showed how incredibly talented they all freaking are. Because I think that was a really hard one to judge. The front runners totally make sense. The fact that everybody's coming for Jinx makes total sense, and she should take it as a compliment. I know that she doesn't, but she should. Oh my gosh, my computer's covered in powdered sugar. It's everywhere. Like six. Okay, but it's so freaking good. Let's root for you. Who are you rooting to win? Who do you want? Actually, no. Let's not say winner. Who do you want in the showdown at the end? Like, who do you want competing at the finale? Oh, and I need to add milk. So for our glaze, we took powdered sugar, we took lemon juice, lemon zest, and now a little bit of milk. I'm gonna eye the milk just because we cut down on the sugar. We just want like a cute little glaze. Cute little glaze moment. You know what I'm saying? Like you're with your girls and you're like, hey, do you want some glaze on that? And you're like, yes, but is it cute glaze? And you're like, oh my God, yes, it's like the cutest glaze. And you're like, yes, give me a glaze moment. That's what we're doing. Here we go. I use chopsticks a lot when I'm baking, especially when I'm mixing. I don't know. I find it easier to scrape the sides of the bowl with a chopstick. So here, it's our glaze. It's got some chunks in it from the sugar that wanted to bring me down and humble me, because that's what it does. It just humbles you. But we're just gonna, you know, humble them back with our chopstick. And that looks pretty good. Actually, It looks a little thin. I think it needs a tiny bit more sugar. Eee! I think I went a little heavy with the milk and too light with the sugar, so we're gonna throw a tiny bit more sugar in there. I'm just gonna play with it. Jada, Jinx, Viv, and Shay. Yes! Oh my god, yes. Oh my gosh. Can we just shout out to the Vivian for being such an amazing contender? You know, especially like a lot of these girls, they know each other, they hang out together regularly, they're neighbors, you know, and the Viv's coming into this, you know, odd woman out or, you know, international woman out, and she is showing the girlies. She is showing the girls. All right. It's a little bit more thick. We have sugar chunks, but that's fine. I think now is when a fork. We might need to take a fork and fork it. Just to get those sugar chunks out. There we go. All right. And with that, our dough should be ready for us. Look at that. Look at that magic of TV timing without any magic TV or timing. Yay! The crowd goes wild. Okay. Oh yeah, perfect. So our dough is now begging to be cut into. She's begging. I know, right? Oh, and she deserves the cash too. Because they don't get any money in their season. Okay, where's my thingamabobber? There she is. Okay. So now we've pulled the dough out of the freezer. Oh yeah, it feels good. Oh yeah, this feels good. This feels good, baby. Okay. So now I like to score it before I cut it. We run like a little score line this way. They're gonna be a little funk in size, but that's okay. Nobody's perfect. They were born that way. I think this should work. Okay. So we're gonna commit. And we're gonna press down on our bench scraper to cut out our lines. 628. Oh, okay. Press down, press down, press down. Now, we want to create somewhat of like rectangles, right? And they go like that. So right here, see, I didn't do what I said I would do. You gotta measure and then cut. So, bop, 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 score. Can I even see that? Bop, bop, score. Bop, bop, score. And these will just be a little bit long. Okay, we're gonna cut that here. Cut. Cut. Yeah, that's better. Cut. And then our final cut. Now we cut them into little scones. Just corner to corner, like that. And that little bit of time in the freezer is making this process that much easier. Because if not, this would be like a gooey fun mess, but it would be a gooey mess. Oopsie. Okay. So these are kind of like in an awkward, well, there we go. Do this. These we're going to cut last because they're in the middle and I don't want to mess anything else up. Okay, so we take 2 little babies right there and we're going to put them on our parchment lined baking sheet. You want to give them a little bit of space in between because they will grow a little bit. But you also, you know, they're friends. They want to hang out together. So little pieces that are kind of like not blended together so nicely. Right before they go in the oven, just kind of give them a little tap, 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 tug. Ooh. And you can see, oh my gosh, you can kind of see already the layers from that lamination that we did. And those are going to get really nice once they come out of the oven. Some of them are going to be kind of wonk because the edges aren't perfect. But like I said, who's perfect? They're still freaking delicioso. And usually the wonks are good ones for like your taste test. If you're going to still be giving a bunch away, you know, the wonky ones are for you. You get to enjoy the wonk. So we have another 2. Look at those layers. Look at that beauty. It's beautiful. It's beautiful, I tell you. It's beautiful. 2 more babies. And they're already starting to warm up and get gooey from the handling. These are going to be so cute. So cute. Okay. Okay, now I can get here. Cut that last one. Bench scraper. Take a little rectangle out. Transfer to your hand. Take your 2 babies. Put them on the baking sheet. So we're going to need another baking sheet. Okay. We're going to need another baking sheet. But what I'm going to do is for consistency in the bakes, I'm just going to bake the 2 sheets separately. So we're going to go ahead and pop this baby in the oven and get it going while we finish transferring these babies onto a parchment lined sheet. Okay, bake until cooked through, not yet, about 16 minutes. But let's make sure, let's check our temperature. So our temperature is supposed to be 350. Our thermometer has it closer to 4. So I'm actually going to bring this down a little bit more. And we're going to let that actually come down a little bit. So we're just going to go ahead and keep it moving because that's what we do. Okay. And that oven is really off. I can't wait to buy my own little apartment where I'm not renting, where I can buy my fancy oven that isn't off by like 20 degrees at a time. That's going to be so nice. Okay, so we have a few more babies left on our mat. Go more. I can't get over these layers. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. Woo. Auga. Auga. They kind of look almost like the little sandwiches that you get for tea time. But you get scones
scones for tea time also. Would you like some tea and scones? Oh my gosh, speaking of, a week from today, I'm going to be in London town. So I'm going to try to do some lives from my hotel room, if I can, if the Wi-Fi permits, so that I can tell y'all about my London adventures, because it's going to be so much fun. Okay. So, you know what? For that many cuts, to only have one Wonka Doodle, and honestly, we're going to kind of just make him extra small so he's not so wonky. We're just going to fold him into himself, and he's just going to be like a handsome little gentleman, right? Actually, this is a they, them. Hi, they, them. You look so cute there in the corner with your they, themness. Okay, so now, wash my hands. Check on the oven, because the oven should hopefully have settled temperature-wise. So we want it closer to 350, not 400. All right, we're gonna start with the smaller tray, just because less product, less chance to mess up. All right, so we're gonna put our ladies and gentlemen and the they, them into the oven. And we're going to put 15 minutes on the clock. And this could use with a little bit more mixing. I guess the sifting is worth it for the sugar, but oh my gosh, it's just such a pain in the butt. You know what I mean? It's such a pain in the butt. Such a pain in the butt. There we go. Still some chunks, but a little bit better. That's a little bit better. So let me see. Can I fit anything else into the dishwasher? Or is this just ready for a load? I think it's just ready for a load. I don't want anything falling on them. Something else? Yeah. Okay. I won't turn that on now because it'll become too loud in here and you won't be able to hear me. But at least it's there, ready to go. Okay, so now we wait. Oh my gosh, it smells pretty good right now. Like the glaze smells really good. Oh my god, it smells so good. It smells like lemon pledge, but like in a good way. Oh my gosh, yes. So Jada, Jinx, Viv, Shay are killing the game. I'm really loving Jada's game also. She's so sweet, so freaking talented, and like just great effortless energy. Like there's just something so effortless and genuine about Jada. Like, oh my gosh, I can't wait. Oh my gosh, and Evie. I'm so proud of Evie because Evie is just like playing the Evie game. Evie don't give a fuck. Evie's just gonna be Evie. And actually, Evie will be at Oasis in San Francisco this Friday for the Reparations Drag Show, and I got myself a meet and greet ticket. So hopefully my little granny self that's so used to waking up at 5 a.m. now, and I have to catch the flight the next day, but that's okay. I'm gonna go to the Oasis show and hopefully be able to meet Evie with my meet and greet ticket. So that's gonna be a lot of fun. And yes, I'm so glad for Viv to get that money because she deserves it. They do them wrong in the UK. They do them wrong. I was thinking about going to DragCon UK too, but I don't know. They didn't invite Alexis Mateo, which I'm surprised given that she was a guest judge in Drag Race España, and Drag Race UK is kind of like gonna be the hub basically for the España girls. Although at this point they might as well just do a Drag Race España. But anyways, I don't know. And it's right, like it's my birthday week.
I think it's my birthday weekend, or like right after. Yeah, it's like right around my birthday. And I don't know. I feel like I want to be somewhere warm for my birthday. I don't know if I want to go to the UK in January. Evie's looks are out of this world. I mean, I would pay money. I would pay money to hang out inside of Evie's brain for like a day. No, so DragCon LA, something came up that just made it feel like it was not going to be a good place for me to be this year. And so I had to pull out at the last minute. But, you know, I saw lots of pictures and videos. Everybody seemed to be having a lot of fun. And yeah, I just hung out here at home. It was fine. And honestly, like, DragCon is fun, but it's so expensive. Like, it's just so freaking expensive. And especially this year. The hotels were more expensive. The flight was more expensive. I mean, thankfully, I was able to get a refund on everything. So I got all my money back. But, oh, see? Yeah, exactly. You live on the East Coast, so it was a no-go. Oh, yeah, and they don't even do the New York DragCon anymore. I heard that now that was going to become like a Las Vegas DragCon because of the residency, which, I mean, I guess kind of makes sense. But, yeah, I guess the Javits Center one wasn't like, it wasn't the glamour that the girls were expecting. And I think it was a lot more expensive than they expected it to be. So they're not going to do New York anymore, is what I heard. That's the rumor I heard. And I haven't seen any announcement for it. They went from announcing LA to announcing UK. So I suspect that little bit of information was correct. But yeah, what else is going on? Oh my gosh, my computer's about to die. Give me 1 second to get a power cord because she's hanging out here with no power. Oh, it was about to die. Tell me you were about to die, girl. How you gonna not tell me? How you gonna not tell me? So let's see, what else is going on? I've been swimming a lot. That's been a lot of fun and like really good for my physical health and for my mental health. I'm swimming every day. I've been swimming every day for a month now. It's probably Honey barking at somebody at the pool now. I've been swimming every day for almost a month now. And for the last week and a half or so, I've been trying to swim twice a day when I can. Let me go see what she's barking at. Hold on a second. What you barking at, girl? Let's go see what she's barking at. Who are you barking at? Who are you barking at? Who are you barking at? You don't need to bark. You don't need to bark at the lady. You can let the lady swim. It's okay. Ooh, so somebody's out there with the same thought I had. Getting a swim in before all the kids take over the pool in the afternoon. I thought I was the only lady that swam in the cold. There's a lady out there getting ready to swim in the cold. It's so gray and cold today. Yeah. Okay, let's see. We have... Hi, little girl. Oh, you eating dough that fell on the floor. Bon appetit. Get out. Out. You're not supposed to be in here. Okay, we have 5 minutes out of our 15 minutes left on the docket, on the oven. I'm not going to mess with them, so we're going to leave them alone. I'm not going to peek in. But at the 15-minute mark, we're going to peek in and take a look. And so, to quote the recipe, bake until cooked through, but not yet golden. So we want them a little pale. Then they're going to cool on the baking sheet for 10 minutes, and then they get transferred to a cooling rack. They're going to take a while to cool, so we're not going to do the glazing on camera today. But you got to see me make the glaze. Basically what I do, so again, they're not super, super sweet. I take a cooling rack, I lay them over, plastic cutting boards, and then I drizzle the glaze over the top of it. The recipe wants you to dunk them into the glaze, both sides. You don't need to do that. It's too freaking sweet. That's why I cut the sugar in half. You don't need to cover the whole thing in sugar. A glaze over the top is more than enough, and you get just enough sweet, and you get that lemon, you get the poppy seed, and it's not just a sugar bomb in your mouth because they're relatively small. Also, they're mini scones. You know what I'm saying? My mom was telling me to get my 7-year ILD lessons, but they're so expensive. Everything's expensive right now. Everything's expensive right now. Yeah, I mean, the only reason why I'm traveling is because work is paying for it, which I'm really excited. It's like, I think I traveled once to Texas for work training, but it was like training. We like stayed in a whatever hotel and went to like a conference room and like just trained all day, took classes all day. So it wasn't like, like a work trip like this one is. But the current day gig, I helped put together an offsite for the team. And lucky for me, my boss considers me a part of the team. And so he insisted that as long as I wanted to go, they obviously made it up to me because of, Ronavid and everything that's happening. But as long as I felt comfortable that if I wanted to go, I was invited to go. So I get to fly on Virgin Atlantic, which I'm so excited. I love flying Virgin. And I'm going to stay at the Standard Hotel in London, which I'm so freaking excited. The Standard Hotel is one of my favorite hotels. They're like a boutique chain, so they're not like available everywhere. So I'm excited that I'm going to stay at the Standard.
And so I leave on Saturday. I get there Sunday. It's an overnight flight. I'll check in on Sunday, and then I was going to try to like do a little bit of sightseeing Sunday, early evening, but get myself to bed early, obviously. Monday, I have to go check out the office. So they have a few different offices in London, but there's one specific office that we're doing our offsite at. So I need to go get the lay of the land for that. And then, what else? Tuesday. So Monday night there's a dinner. Tuesday is an offsite day. Tuesday night or Tuesday afternoon, I host a social event for the team. Then I'm probably just going to go back to the hotel and like just do like dinner at the hotel that night, just because there's so many other work things all through the rest of the week. So I'll probably try to go live that night from the hotel. And then Wednesday, second day of the offsite, then there's like a team dinner that night. Then Thursday, I'm probably just going to work from the hotel. I could go to the office, but knowing me, I'm probably just going to work from the hotel. And then Friday, I basically check out, do a little bit of sightseeing. Well, I'm going to do sightseeing in the morning, check out, have a tiny bit of time to do a tiny bit more sightseeing. And then I basically have to go to the airport and fly back home. So it's going to be a whirlwind. Sweet, you've never flown anywhere. Oh my gosh, I get so scared. I turn into like a little baby. And usually I take one of my dogs with me. Like when I had Paco used to go everywhere with me. And Honey, she's certified as my service animal, and I'm training her to be a full service animal. She's certified as she has a conditional certification right now, because she's training. But she's never flown before. Like she's still a puppy, and a 10-hour flight or whatever is just too freaking long for like a first time flight for a dog. I really wanted to take her, but I'm scared that it's going to be too much for her. So I'm going to leave her here. I'm so sad, and I'm going to be so anxious on the flight, and I'm going to miss her so much. But I'm just going to make the best of it. And one of my best friends is going to stay here at home with her. So she'll be fine. She'll have a great time hanging out with him. But yeah, I wish I could take her. But later on this year in October, I'm supposed to go to Florida to go visit my mom. Then I'm going to take Honey, and that'll be her first flight. Because it's still a long flight from San Francisco. And actually we have a layover. So actually that's why it's better. Even though I don't want to have a layover, it's good because it's like a relatively short flight. We get off the plane, she can do her business, blah, blah, blah. We get back on another plane, and then we go to Florida. Yeah. We'll see. Again, it's like, I don't know if you've seen, but like the pilots are striking. And for middle-aged white men who are relatively worth taking care of to be on strike means that things are really, really bad. So I don't know what's going to happen. I haven't seen anything about Virgin having any strikes. So I'm pretty sure that like I'm going to make my flight. But October, who knows? From now to then, what's going to happen? Everything's so crazy. All right. I think this is about to buzzer off. So we're going to take a peek. Oh no. These do not look cute. What happened? Okay, they need a little bit more. These really spread. So for as much as I talked about my dough being incorporated, it's okay. They're still gonna get eaten. But they spread. There was like a lot of spreading happening. Okay, I'm gonna turn the oven up a tiny bit. We're gonna leave it there for like 2 more minutes. But that's fine. That's fine. They're still gonna be delicious. They're still gonna be yummy. They just don't look mini. I think I cut them too big. It's okay. It's still gonna be delicious. But we're gonna pull those out in a second, and then we're gonna give these a try. And hopefully these babies do better. But I don't know, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. I really was hoping for that. Ugh. You better not let me down. You need to do your sit-ups and your crunches and your pull-ups. I need you guys to do the work, okay?
They're gonna taste delicious. They're gonna be delicious. They're gonna be delicious. I think what I'm gonna have to do. Sometimes it happens with cookies. Actually, the cookies like spread out, and there's a trick, another TikTok trick,
that you take like a glass or a cup that's bigger than the cookie, and when they're still warm, you put it over. You give it like a little, and then they get their nice round shape.
We're gonna do that, but with our dough scraper. We're just gonna like
tuck them in a little bit. Tuck them in for bed. Tuck them in for the night. You know what I'm saying? All right. We're going to not burn our hands.
So we're gonna grab
an oven mitt. Okay.
All right. It's okay. It's all right. You can still see the layers. And you hush your face. You hush your face. You hush your face.
Okay. So I think these are
salvageable. Yeah, it's not too bad. It's actually not too bad at all. I think some of the spreading looks scarier than it actually is. These are totally salvageable. Okay, so let me not get too distracted. While the oven is still hot, we're going to go ahead and pop our second round of babies into the oven. We're going to put
15 minutes on the clock. So now,
I just had 2 in my hand. Oh my gosh. Okay, let me just get this way. Okay. They're cooling down. We want to do this now. We want to do this fast before they cool down too much. So,
yeah, they're already setting. That's okay. Yeah, not too bad. When they get their glaze, they'll be fine. A few of these came out really pretty, actually. So, as you can see the layers. Look at those layers. Look at that fluffy goodness layer. Oh my gosh. Look at that beauty. Oh my gosh.
there we go. It's like, focus. Come on. There we go. Like, here's a good, there we go.
So there we go. Lemon Poppyseed Scones, my darlings. So these babies will cool down on the baking sheet.
We're going to pull them off the oven because on the oven, they're not really doing much cooling down. We're going to pull these aside. Those need to cool down, so it'll be 10 minutes on the baking sheet, and then another however long they need off of the baking sheet on the little cooling racks because they still need to cool a little bit more after that. And then once they're fully, room temperature cooled, whatever you want to call them, then they're going to get the drizzle of the glaze
drizzled over.
What do you do with a drizzle? You drizzle it. What do you do with a glaze? You glaze it. And then I let those sit for a little bit so that the glaze sets. And then you just put them away in, airtight containers. And they last for a few days. They're really, really good. Like, they taste good for days. So, afterthoughts. What could have done? What could have happened better? I think
I needed a tiny bit less flour. And I think I needed to cut up the butter a little bit more. I think the fact that it was frozen and there were so many big chunks of butter, I think the butter could have been smaller. So I think next time, make sure that the butter is cold, not frozen. Still got to play with that lemon juice extra ratio to flour, and maybe a tiny bit more baking powder. Duh. I think I might have needed a tiny bit more baking powder too. But they're still going to be delicious. And this was a lot of fun. Oh my gosh, you guys. This was the first Bake with Mimi live. This was fun. The time flew by. Oh my gosh, almost 2 hours, you guys. Hanging out with Mimi. So
I hope that you have a wonderful rest of your day, Sweet Harmony. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. This was so much fun to be able to chat with you and bake with you. I wish I could ship some to you right now so you could taste them yourself. But yeah, feel free to subscribe if you're not subscribed already. Hang out in the channel, check out some of the other videos. I also have a podcast that I'm working really, really hard to bring back to life. It's a little bit on hiatus right now, but doesn't mean that the videos don't exist on the internet, so you can go ahead and watch them right now if you want to. So with that, I'm going to say goodbye, adios, au revoir, and I love you all. Where's my sweets?
She's being a good girl and not being in the kitchen. Thank you, Sweet Harmony. I love you all. Have a wonderful rest of your day. And remember, don't forget to be all the people.